Hi, this is Derek Sai from LearnByBlogging.com. Today I will be reviewing this book called the Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. Yaa Gyasi. Today is a beautiful day. Spring is upon us, and I'm looking through the window and see all the flowers of cherry trees and the flowers from the apple tree from a neighbor's fence. And I saw the two doves. I'm going to take some picture over there. You can see that. Wonderful day to be doing a review on this wonderful book, Homegoing. You can follow along here. Reading Homegoing is like eating a Chinese banquet with 14 courses, but each course can fill you up by itself, and yet at the end you feel completely satisfied, not overfilled, and emotionally, intellectually enriched with the history, the black Negro human race, how they went through the last 250 years or so. It's like a modern version of Roots, the movie, and yet it seems more realistic and multifaceted, like a video recording in the progressive scenes in many different angles. The author captures emotion with very good usage of metaphors and descriptions, which in turn that moves the readers in very profound ways. Each of the chapters or the stories constitute one episode of a series of 14 episodes. I cannot wait to see someone make them into a TV series. The stories are hard to follow in the beginning, as they happened about 200 years ago and alternate between two genealogies. Ephia and Essie are the two half-sisters, from where the two lines of genealogy happens, or lineage. For which there is a genealogy chart in the first page that comes in the book, and very handy if you want to reference occasionally during my reading of the book and listening to the audiobooks. By the way, the audiobook narrated by Dominic Hoffman was fantastic, with his slight African accent that seemed to take on each character with fidelity. Very enjoyed that audiobook, and also read the book separately as well. I don't usually read novels, but this novel is a great treat even if you are just remotely interested in the history of the Negro race. But in many ways, they are stories of the underprivileged to the nth degree. If the book doesn't move you, you are either most likely too stone-hearted to be a human race, or just too numb to feel the pain. You're the other extreme. But to the most of us, I highly recommend this book. Once again, there's gonna be a spoiler alert from here. If you plan to read the book, I would suggest you stop reading or stop watching the video. My key takeaway is the horrific conditions of stacking hundreds of captured women slaves in the dungeon underneath the castle seem very unbelievable, but it's not surprising given the cruelty of slavery itself. In fact, the slavery was already a common practice among the African tribes before the whites started taking the black slavery, and perhaps among the different white ethnics in the old days. So that speaks to the degree of the cruelty the humans are capable of imposing on other human beings. And the roles of the black tribe themselves contributing to the slavery was also very explicit. So not everybody is blameless. During the Civil War, the awkward status of the blacks between the slave states and the free states were captured in the book. Any black person can be kidnapped to be a slave in the northern state, the southern slave states. Seems incredible to me, but that happened often, as highlighted in the Two Shovel H story, who was falsely imprisoned in the Pratt City, Alabama, and turned into slaves digging in the coal mines. And that is the southern state. Sometimes the betrayal of someone you love hurts no less than the hurt you get from the whites. In the case of Robert, he's mostly white, white husband to Willie, a black woman, and a religious and self-determined daughter of H. The underprivileged tend to be constant state of helplessness and get trapped in this drug abuses, as in the case of Sonny's story. He could blame on abandonment of his father, Robert, but due to the love and the care of his mother, Willie, and his son, Marcus, which is the end character, the last character, Sonny eventually won over the drug abuse, although very precariously. And lastly, also the Akua, the crazy woman who burned down her family's hut because of her hallucination about this fire woman, some kind of voodoo African things. But 2 of her children were burned to death, and she was eventually exiled out of the village after her husband Asamoah, the handicapped warrior, stood out for her to save her life. And her son Yaa was sent to a remote place for schooling and came back to reunite with her after being a history teacher at his middle age. And the story was quite mystical, all this hallucination and all that, but quite believable in a way. Yaa's line of genealogy stayed in Ghana and Africa until he immigrated to Africa. So you get a feel of what's happening in Africa, struggling for the independence from England or British. And while the other genealogy is descended from slaves that's kidnapped to America, struggling against injustice. They both came from the same half-sisters, same family. The contrast between the two is very interesting, and eventually they all come together. And so I knew from a chart there are some 2 genealogy that eventually come together at the end. So this kept me anxious to see how the book would end, and I was not disappointed. The fear of the fire and the fear of the water come together so beautifully at the end, and it's just a masterpiece. So once again, the book offers a full course of history, vile human natures, and hope. And then from the book, I'm hopeful for the future of the human race. And I have attached some video from YouTube videos of the interview of the author Yaa Gyasi. She actually is a Ghana. She was born in Ghana and eventually immigrated to America. So she has a different perspective what a black American should be or could be. You can see all the videos here. Attachment in my blog. Once again, Yaa Gyasi, Homegoing. Great book. Highly recommended. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Bye now.